Ignite. Ignite, that aspect of innovation which is all about the creative spark. This is when we need huge doses of creativity. We need to be able to be thinking differently. We need a raft of skills here as women leaders. We need to develop these skills of creativity inside of ourselves, the ability to generate ideas, to be idea generators, to seek new knowledge outside our areas of interest, to challenge our ways of thinking, go out of your way to be challenged, to be provoked, to make connections between different ideas, disparate ideas. Innovation isn't always about new. It's about seeing an idea and another idea and combining them to create something that will add new value. And from a leadership perspective, it's about how do we create that culture of free expression where people don't feel judged, where they feel they can actually express their ideas, where you can motivate each other to learn and to grow and to share ideas. I'm very pleased with some of, when I think back over my career, obviously at the time I didn't have the sort of the wisdom of hindsight. I was thinking, gosh, I'm doing all these different things. But now, where I am, and I can look back, I can be thankful for all the diverse experiences. I started off in the not-for-profit world and in charities for a number of years, working in fundraising, public relations, and out on the streets with street children. I then moved into politics. I became a speechwriter for the Labour Party. And then I moved into the business world. And I've been working in the business world now for 18 years. And I can see these connections between these different worlds. After I finished my master's degree at the London School of Economics, I got inspired by the world of social psychology. And so I moved into business and I started working in the area of consulting around new media and technology, and particularly how technology is transforming markets for learning and education. This has given me a love of innovation, a love of creating value out of new ideas and helping others do the same, a love of creativity and lateral thinking. One of my most favorite jobs was working in an incubator in a company called the Magic Cat. And it was part of a German industrial technology firm in Hamburg. And interestingly, again, it was far ahead of its time. It hired people, and the type of titles we were given were to do with the role we were doing. I was called a future shaper. That was my job title. And so I was in there to shape and work on rapid deployment of new ideas and take them to market. And one of the most exciting ideas I worked on was with an academic who had done tons of research over 10, 15 years of looking at how culture shapes the way decisions are made, how leaders make decisions. His name's Dr. Gilles Spony, and we created with him the Spony profiling model. And so after working in the Magic Cat, we had to develop these ideas that would become businesses. And I was asked to become the marketing director of this firm. And we took it to market and we developed it. And it's now used in organizations and business schools all over the world. So curiosity and creativity are very closely linked. A curious mind is often a creative mind. So if I asked you, what sort of books are you reading at the moment? What's inspiring you to think differently? Some of the books I'm reading include Steve Jobs' autobiography. Anybody read it? Very interesting character. The Autobiography of a Yogi. And A Whole New Mind. Why right-brainers will rule the future. Very interesting. I highly recommend it. It's really important working in this field of innovation and creativity that I'm continually inspired, that I have fresh thinking, because that's what I give. That's what I'm using all the time. It's such the lifeblood of what I do and of the work. And I particularly like this book, A Whole New Mind, by Daniel Pink, because in it, what he's saying is we're moving out of the information and knowledge economy into the conceptual age. And it's going to require a very different way of thinking. We've all been brought up with predominantly left brain dominant thinking, logic, analysis, language, very much about what our educational systems have created in us. But what he's saying is actually we need to be spending a bit more time on developing our right brain, that area in us which is responsible more for creativity, emotion, intuition. And it's not right over left, it's actually whole brain thinking that we need to develop. Now, it's quite scary because there have been a few studies done in this area of creativity and how it declines with age. There's this one study here called Breakpoint and Beyond. And what they did, these researchers, was they looked at children from the age of 3 to 5 up until the age of 15. And they studied them over a period of time to see what was happening to their ability to think laterally. Now, what do you think happened? 3 to 5-year-olds had 98% levels of genius, creative genius. By the age of 15, this was 10%. 200,000 adults that did the same tests, 8 lateral thinking tests, scored 2%. And these are the people we're hiring. These are the people that are coming into our workforce. It's scary. This is an invisible disability. It's also a physiological disability. Something's happening in our brains. We're getting educated. And I have nothing against education. I've got 3 degrees. But the problem is we've spent so much effort on the skills that we've required for the past, but we haven't spent much time on preparing ourselves for the future, which is going to require whole brain thinking. We need to get a bit better at design, not just design as an afterthought, but the design throughout the process of innovation, of telling stories, of creating meaning, of empathy, play, and symphony, that ability to synthesize, not just analyze. And this is what Daniel Pink talks about in his book. And it's a great book because it gives you lots of practical ways to try to develop them in yourself.